wear a mask, but we're socially distanced enough now.
Yes, we are. by many, many states.
Yes. You can't catch COVID through the dang it, my brain just doesn't work. Stupid.
I'm sugared up, so I'm gonna be good.
Good. So you can run the show today because I'm clearly not all here today.
Happy New Year.
Yes, it is a new year.
Yes, it's a new year. It's 2022.
Has it gotten any better? Has it gotten any better yet?
Maybe not. I'm not out. I'm going to finish my Twizzler.
I don't know about you, but my year has not gotten off on the right foot. I was hopeful, but I had a feeling that this year was going to be an interesting start, and so far it has been.
Well, we ended the year with Betty White.
Oh, that was the worst.
That was sad. But she was 99, you know?
I still say, if you count leap years, she made it to 100.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it to her. Oh, look, we got some guests visiting us. Hi, Rene. Hey, Anita. Thanks for visiting with us. So for those of you who don't know, we lost our guest this week, and me and all of my family have COVID. So this is just going to be more of a chatty show today.
Yes, we have no real agenda.
But we've been gone for
sugared up.
We've been gone for 2 weeks, so it was like we couldn't go for too long without saying something.
Yes.
And catching up. And, you know, for me, this has always been like my social hour. I get to hang out with my people, and I needed this. I think when you messaged me this morning, Jane, you're like, do we want to cancel since we don't have a guest? I was like, no, I need to talk to someone.
I left it completely up to you, because after having COVID, there are days that you can do stuff and there are days that you can't. And I just wanted to make sure that this was a can-do day, not a okay, I'm going to crawl and
Oh, we got some good news. Thank you, Renee. Actually, we're going to do a little bit of astrology talk today, I think.
Yes, we are.
That's going to be fun. So your friendly neighborhood astrologer wishes you a happy Venus Kazemi. Oh, is it? It is. I'll put up the screen here in a little bit. So that is when the sun and Venus conjoin, and you've got Venus sitting at the heart of the sun at this point. So she's being reborn. So yay, hopefully that means some good things, that we are not out of the woods, because we are still in a Venus retrograde. We're about to hit a Mercury retrograde, and it's not going to clear until the end, till we get to February.
Okay. February?
Yeah.
Or March?
February. February is when the retrograding ends. Then we get other issues.
Okay. But you told me this the last time we talked, and I was preparing myself for really bad writing days.
Well, with Mercury, you might have slower writing days.
Yes,
because that's going to really correlate to, you know, what you're communicating, what you're writing. And if I'm looking at your chart, which, should we put up your chart?
Sure. Go ahead.
See. Let me do a share screen here. All right. Let's see. So we've got your chart up here. So the inner wheel is you. The outer wheel is what's going on in the stars right now. So for you, this energy is happening in your 5th and 6th house. So 6th and 7th house. So you're having the Venus retrograde, the Venus Kazemi today. That's this right here. You can see they're both at 18 degrees. So that's happening in the house of, I don't want to say it a scary way, but let's just say the house of service.
Okay.
It's the things we have to do in life, not necessarily the things we want to do in life, and not necessarily career. So it's like duty. It's what we have to do. It's also sometimes the house of ill health. So you're having more of the struggles in your life. The things you have to do are being highlighted by this Venus retrograde right now. And Venus represents what makes life worth living, the good stuff in life. So it's kind of going backwards, and people look at retrogrades and they're like, oh my God, it's a scary time. It's basically a time of revision. It's slow down, take an extra look at things, figure out what's working, what's not. It's not necessarily a horrible, detrimental thing. It's telling you to refocus. So the struggle is going to show you what areas you need to either take a different path on, or maybe look from a different angle and see how to better work with it. Now, the Mercury retrograde is going to be happening starting in your 7th house, retrograding back into your 6th house. So your 7th house is how you deal with other people. It's your relationships, public relationships, romantic relationships, anything where it's like one-on-one, you and someone else. So the Mercury retrograde is going to point to communication problems, anything dealing with like contracts, since usually business contracts are definitely tied in with relationships. It's a make sure you're reading the fine print, double check it, make sure you understand every point of it before you sign something, that kind of a thing. It don't rush into anything, period. So until we get to February, take everything slow. Really, really give everything the benefit of the doubt. Give it a second eye, second opinion. Don't rush into anything. But now with the Venus Cazimi, so Venus is basically going through the heart of the sun at this point. And Venus is going to become the morning star, which means it will rise before the sun in the morning. So that's a powerful Venus. It's Venus basically coming into her own power. And even though she's retrograding right now, when the retrograde's over, she's still going to maintain that because the sun obviously moves at a different speed than she does. So Venus is coming into power right now. And it looks like you've actually got almost a direct opposition from your sun in the 12th to where the sun's at in Capricorn right now. So that could also point to a bit of struggles too, when you've got sun opposite or transiting sun opposite your natal sun. It can sometimes point to some struggles. Again, this is in that 6th house of service and duties and things you've got to do. So it's just a bit of a frustrating time, I would say.
Well, that reads about right, and from a writing perspective, you had said that things were going to probably be slow on the creative side. And I'm finding that's the case, but I'm plugging away word for struggling word. I'm getting them down. One story's doing fine. One story is just flowing nicely. The other one, it's fits and starts. I can write I get through a scene and I get stuck and I'm like at a Y in the road and go, which way do I go? Thus my text to you and Rebekah today. Which way should I go? I have 2 ideas. I need one of them.
You got your answer though.
Yes, I did from both of you. You were both consistent. So that's the way I'm going to go. Unless my mind overnight decides, no, I want to go this way.
See what happens. It's not necessarily a don't go one direction. It's take your time and feel it out.
Right.
And I like what Rene says here.
Bloody. So
when is it not bloody with your writing? Come on now.
Okay.
I'm the same way. I word spew on the page and then come back and go, well, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. This is work. Fix this. That's what revisions are.
Yep.
I don't fear.
Yeah, I did one thing in one of the scenes and then I was laying in bed and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Because I said earlier that she couldn't do something because it would raise alarms. And then she did it. And I'm like, I'm like, laying in the bed just right before you go to sleep and then your eyes go, no, I can't do that. So I had to fix that. And I did fix it, instead of waiting until the end.
But sometimes you have to take that path in order to figure out it doesn't work.
Yep, exactly. So I've been doing a little bit of that. And it's a new series, so it's a new thing. It's not familiar characters, so I'm getting to know the characters.
Yeah.
And all of that. It's sort of like going to a party and not knowing anybody. And just, trying to figure out who your people are.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. No, I'm the wallflower sitting there with the drink in hand, watching everybody.
Just watching. And I'm the one that would say, oh, there's a wallflower. Somebody probably I can talk to.
Okay, hold on. We got some comments we got to get to real quick.
Okay.
All right. So
Yes.
Renee says that the Mercury in the 7th house going into the 6th house. So communications with others leading to maybe revisions in your daily routine. That could be where that retrograde might point to, which I like. And then she just posted this, that Algol, where's Algol? That's going to be in Taurus.
Yes, I do write
Algol
murder
at the
too.
midheaven. Yep. Oh, Stephen King had a similar prominent Algol. That's great. And you do like to kill people. So there we
Yes, I
go.
do. There we go. That's
What we got?
interesting. Sorry.
10th house cusp. Yeah. So when we're talking about the 10th house, talking about right here in your chart, which is right where Taurus is up at the very top.
Okay.
So your 10th house has to do with your career. So where the 6th house is the things we have to do in life that we don't necessarily want to, but have to. The 10th house is what we're known for doing.
Yeah.
Which is why it relates to the career. It also can relate to the parents as well, depending on which parent helped shape your personality. Sometimes the 10th house is the mother. Sometimes the 10th house represents the father. And then below that in the 4th house, if the 10th represents the father, the 4th will represent the mother, generally speaking, or vice versa.
Okay.
So it's fun to see how those kind of things line up.
Yes.
And like I said, I got a brand new present for myself, which I can't wait to really start diving into, which is a giant book all about the transiting planets and their connections and what they could possibly mean. It is huge. I can't wait to go through it all.
It is. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, that was my present to myself, along with my astrology journal.
Yeah, this is pretty. This is
gorgeous. Oh,
yeah, hardbound. I could knock somebody out with it.
and yes, that is definitely Robert Hand. I love Robert Hand.
Yes.
I love his lectures. I've watched a lot of his lectures on YouTube. He's amazing, amazing astrologer. I love listening to the way he puts things together. Sorry, go completely.
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. I'm like, okay, that's astrology. I just got my chart read. I haven't gotten into it yet, so I don't know who Robert Hand is.
It's been fun. Like I'm so thankful you let me play with your chart on a regular basis so that I can use it.
When we did that, and we did my husband's too, because that was hysterically funny.
Yeah, you guys like are complete opposites, which pairs up so nicely. Like you fill in the gaps that he's got, and he fills in the gaps that you got. It was just really nicely laid out.
Yes.
And it's been good practice for my homework, because that is my homework. I'm supposed to be practicing on charts so that I can get better at this, so that hopefully I can, actually do something with this.
Yeah, no, I've been going through my covers and going, seriously, which ones am I going to write, and which ones are just going to sit until hell freezes over. I have to say that. I've been going through and I'm putting them into files, and I have manageable. I think what I think is a manageable plan now. Before it was just overwhelming.
You gotta show everyone how many covers you're sitting on, because you have they're so beautiful though too. So many covers. You've managed to find a lot of really good artists, a lot of covers that work well together, even if they're not from the same artist. You find covers that really flow nicely for series.
Yes.
And God, they're like they're I would frame them and put them on the wall. They're so pretty.
I know. All right, so share screen. Hold on. Share screen. Where's my window? These are just. This is what I have done for. I think that's the end right there. So I have 22 different series. This one's almost done. Fractured Fairy Tales, I only have 1.5 more to write. And then this one is all single title covers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
then,
well, let me see The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. Hold on, where is that? That's over here. Did you see that? Did that go full screen for you?
Uh-uh.
Oh no, it didn't. Okay, hold on. I have to do that. Hold on. Where's my full screen? Hold on. Let's go. Stop sharing. Let me go back and do share screen. And then we'll go here. Where is it? Hold on. Hold on. Can I show that? There it is. Oh, no, there it is. Sorry, people. That one?
That's the oh, I love it.
Yes. That's a Julie cover.
Love it. I like it. Yep. That's going to be a good story. You haven't even read it yet, but I know it's going to be a good story.
No. and you know, all of those folders, the minimum has 2. The maximum, I think, has 8. And then Fractured Fairy Tales has 10. And I said that's a 1.5 done. So, and then I'll be done with that
what's
entire series.
The next, like, I know you're working on finishing up the Fractured Fairy Tales. You just finished the Dragons, right?
Yep.
So what's the next series that you're going to be working on?
Let me go here.
Yeah, Rene, me too. I was definitely thinking something similar along that. I could see definitely going with like any kind of the divination. You could go magic, you could go tarot, you could even go astrology if you really wanted to with that one. That could be fun. This is
my next series.
Oh yeah, I've seen these. Okay.
Yep.
I like those.
Yep. That's
the
my
color
next series.
That blue and red, the contrast between those two is so striking.
Yes, it is. So that's my next series. That's what I'm writing. That's the one that I keep hitting impasses at. So I have that. And then I have the dragon one, which is, hold on. Where's that? Hold on. Let me go there. Yes, it takes me a little while to get there. Sorry, people. And let me go. The first one and the dragon one is this one. And I have to share to see. It helps if I'm sharing, right? So this is the first of the trilogy for the Age of Dragons.
Okay.
So this is the one that takes place in pre-Mayan culture. And then this is book 2.
Okay.
And this is book 3. So,
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yes. Yeah. So that I have the next year basically planned out in those 2 series, and then the Fractured Fairy Tales.
So since we're supposed to be talking writing, what is your approach when you decide to write these? Obviously you've got the idea from the image because you're selecting the images way ahead of writing. Yes. So how do you approach from getting these book covers together towards writing the story?
Well, the first thing I've done in the past is written the first book's blurb before I've even written anything, just to get the concept in my head. And then from there, I kick around the concept. And usually, you know, I've had these for a while, so I kick around the concept. Sometimes I write bullet points in the templates that I have, because for every single cover I have a template already created with the cover, you know, the copyright page with the cover artist on it, so I don't forget.
Important.
And all of that. So I have that. I have in the past done the plot genie, gone out and seen what plots they have out there and say, ooh, you know, and bought a plot and had her give me an 8-point story thing that I take and run wild with at times. So sometimes it's mine. Sometimes I need a little help.
Sure.
and that gives me a little measure of help, and then I just run with it. So I have one book that I plotted out ad nauseum. I can't write it because I plotted it out to holy hell. So it took it, because these big plot things that say what the chapter is, what the point is, what this and all of that, and getting all of that out in my mind. And afterwards I'm like, well,
It's
where's
already
the
written.
magic? Where's
Yeah.
the magic? So I like the magic.
And
Hi,
to
Joshua.
reiterate to
Yeah.
our audience out there, there's no right or wrong way to do
No.
it. But for plotters, they do need to do that. For
Oh,
pantsers,
absolutely.
it actually does kind of kill the magic when you do too
Mhm.
much ahead of time. And I'm in
Yes.
that camp with you. I'm a pantser. I have to have the ability to create it as I'd like.
Yeah, I have a
And
scene in my head that starts it all, and it goes from there. And
yeah,
then once it goes from there, I pretty much think I know how it's going to end. And I say I think because it morphs over the books.
I
So
like this point. It's kind of like divination. It's guiding you.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
giving you that visual plot without writing the plot.
yep. And that's when you start a new series and you're not a plotter, you have to get to know the characters. That's, as I was saying, I'm just getting to know the characters and getting the feel for what they're going to do and what's right or what's wrong, what they're, what's within character or outside of character for them. So, this is a journey for me as much as it is for my characters and ultimately the readers. So it's kind of fun.
Anita says once you start writing, those outlines never stay as written. And you're absolutely
True,
right.
true.
You have to allow for deviation. But usually the outline it's and I'm not a plotter, so I don't want to speak for plotters, but at least
Mhm.
from the pantser perspective, once you've written that outline, you almost feel like that is the story, and
Mhm.
you kind of try and stay as close to it as possible, and that becomes a limiting factor if you're trying too hard to stay close to it. Now,
Yeah.
in my client work, I have to follow their outlines. If
Yes.
I'm ghostwriting, they're giving me the outline that I have to follow. So I
Right.
have to use that and I have to stay with it. And oh, it gets frustrating sometimes because I really
Oh,
don't want to
sure.
do what they're suggesting. And I end up like finding either a workaround to get to the point, the next point in the
Yes.
list while changing the current one or finding a way to make the current one work. And it takes longer for me to write when I'm having to work with a client's outline than it would be for me just to write like when I do my own stories.
Right. Right. Yeah. So hold on.
Or understand the pantser approach. Yeah, no, you either are or you aren't a pantser, and it's not a one or the other. It's not a black or white. It's
Right.
shades of gray in between. It's how you approach, how you feel most comfortable writing. There's no right or wrong way to do it.
How do we keep a continuous thread? I work well. My brain is linear, I guess.
Hmm.
So I'm a business analyst, so I'm very analytical too. So I think that's how I can keep continuity
Every
from the beginning to the
problem
end.
has to have a solution. So if you've created a
Yes.
problem, now you create the solution.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, and up until I worked with Katie and wrote a trilogy with Katie, I wrote linear. I wrote from beginning to end. I didn't jump if I got stuck. And I had a later scene. But with her, I learned to leapfrog and jump and put things and write a scene I wanted to, and then she would fill in, or she'd write a scene and I'd fill in. And I saw the benefit of doing that. It was really kind of neat. And that actually opened me up to be able to do a little bit more with my own writing. If I get stuck on this story, now jump to another story. And at this point, I always seem to have two stories running, and I try to keep them out in different genres because I can't do two of the same genre because that would really screw me up.
They're too similar.
Yeah. So, I go from paranormal romance to urban fantasy. yes, they're somewhat similar, but
The
the
focus
whole
is
goal of
different.
the story is different.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, and for you and I, one of the reasons we worked really well as a co-author team, and co-author teams are like marriages. There's a lot of give and take in them. You have to balance in some way, or you're going to butt heads. Even if you're both the best writers in the world, if your styles don't mesh, it doesn't work.
Right.
So
Right.
it was
And
great that we were able to do it, but we had that very yin yang approach to it. If I
yes.
came up with a problem, you had the solution. If you came up with a problem, I had the solution. So we were able to do that leapfrogging, and that's what made us 3 novels in 6 months.
Yes, and we
It
were
was
able to discuss things that we didn't always see eye to eye on. And I know you're like, you will not let me do that.
put my foot down, damn it.
And I conceded. Like, okay, you have
I don't put my foot down for much, but I do
Right.
put my foot down for that.
Yes. So
But we also were able to talk it out. Again, like the marriage, you have to be, pick your battles.
Yep.
You have to discuss things, try and see each other's perspective, try and see what works. So, it wasn't without its conflict, but we were able to
Right.
work through any of the conflicts that came up.
Right. And I have turned down co-writing opportunities before because I looked at the writing and I knew we wouldn't mesh. There's, you and I have a similar voice, a similar tone. And it was interesting that my husband, when he read the book, couldn't figure out who wrote what.
That's what you
So,
want. You don't want it
exactly.
so drastic.
We wanted, and he's like, you guys wrote and blended so well that he was impressed.
Well, that's part of our editing process too, because even though we were leapfrogging chapters, we were both going through and doing revisions to the whole thing.
Right.
So we were layering our voices even onto the chapters that we weren't writing.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, to all co-writers out there, work together, because you do want to sound like a cohesive book, not like, oh, I know who wrote this. It's not the same one who wrote that.
Yeah, because the author's voice will come through, and that can
Yes.
be jarring. It can pull somebody out of a story if they're like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right.
Right. This doesn't, gel with what I just read in chapter 1. I mean, there are some co-writers that do that purposely, have different chapters for different people.
And if they're writing different characters, that works really well, because they
Yes.
can really give that unique voice to that character that they're, focusing on.
Right. Exactly.
And that would be fun to do too, to write a dual personality book or multiple POV book where you can really use that voice and make it shine.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I don't normally like that writing style, but my client work has kind of forced me to work that muscle a little bit more.
Okay.
So I think I want to kind of explore that in one of the next books that I work on. Of course, I have to finish the current book that I'm working on.
Yes,
How many years has it been? How many years has it been?
2, right?
What if I just don't write
before
the
the
fifth
COVID
book?
crap? It was before the COVID crap.
What if I just hold off on that fifth book for a while and just refresh to something different?
You could. I'm like in the back of my head, my little editor is going, finish the book. Because leaving things undone is one of my biggest pet peeves.
But it's a series. Every book has its own ending. So technically, book 4 had its ending. And I always leave threads open in case I want to come back later. So I don't have to write the 5th book. I've got a real mental block against the 5th book. I don't know why. Every time I've had moments in the last 2 years to go back and look at it, I have been blocked. Like there's like I don't want to look at it, or I read a chapter and I'm like, I'll get to it later. I know the ending. I know where it's supposed to go. It's mostly written, which is kind of sad just to leave something hanging. It's mostly written. But there's
no
that block
passion
every
in
time I
it.
think about it. It's like,
It's almost like pulling teeth at
yeah.
this point.
But I love the characters. Like the story,
Yeah.
that's the series that I really wanted to see expand into like a TV series. Like I would
Yeah.
love to see them take the Agents of Asset and focus a series on, because I think that could be
Mhm.
really fun. And maybe it's just because I didn't see the acknowledgement for that series or the
Mhm.
interest in that series as much as I'd hoped. Maybe that's the block. And if I
Mhm.
saw more interest in that series, then I would be able to like push forward. I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, that's
Divine timing. Yeah, there we go. I should look and see when I'm when I've got
yes.
better stars, better transits happening. If you looked at my chart though, I'm in a serious year of hard transformation energy.
Mhm.
And it's been I've had 2 to 3 years of a lot of shit happening as it was, and it's not
Mhm.
ending yet. And this year going forward for me is one where I'm supposed to be really getting pushed. Like a fire is supposed to be lit under my ass to really complete all of these changes that I've been struggling through for the last couple years.
Okay.
So
So writing a book with me might be
it's not gonna be an easy
right.
year. That's just what I'm saying. Although it is a good year for partnering for me.
Yes.
It is a good year for partnering. And then that was the nodal shift that I was telling you about earlier, where the nodes of the moon aren't actual planetary bodies, but they're mathematical points.
Mhm.
And where the north points tends to be what's expanding in your life, and where the south point is what's diminishing or taking less energy, or you're releasing from your life. And
Mhm.
in my chart, it's pointing towards my social house, my partnering house, as the
Mhm.
expansion area. So I should be looking towards making real good partnerships. And it's the diminishing end is on the self. So less me, less paying attention to my stuff, and more focusing on other things and other people.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe co-writing this year is a good thing. I'm gonna have a come to Jeebus moment. Yeah, I've had so
Yes.
many of those. Like, where there's a meme flying around that's like, if I have any more character development, I'm becoming a villain. That's how I feel right now. I've had enough character developing moments. I'm about to
Yes.
go evil and probably enjoy it too.
Ooh, yeah, I'm sure you would.
And Renee, yeah, you and I have talked about this too. I think she actually just finished the cycle I'm going into.
Okay.
So the less of the self and more of the dealing with other people. And if you're an introvert like me, that whole you got to deal with other people thing is like, "Oh, are you sure? Do I have to? Really?" Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm less people the better. I do go to maybe one-on-one, large groups, not so much, unless I go
mm,
to conventions, which is it's there's the weirdness because I'm an introvert, but when I go to conventions, I can turn it on and do that, like make you think I'm an extrovert, public
yeah,
speaker, all that kind of stuff. Villains are okay. So Renee says villains are more interesting. Yes, they are.
yeah,
Yes, they are.
yes,
And it's okay to be a villain sometimes. Yeah, well, villains are also the hero of their own story. So it's all perspective there. The biggest growth
yeah,
is when we realize that sometimes being the hero of the journey is a little arrogant. Okay. We have good and bad, and coming to terms with that is key. True, true.
mm,
Meeting good friend every week for study art. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's good.
yeah,
So you've had some
yeah,
good growth. I like
yes,
that.
yes.
It's good, even if we have to get dragged kicking and screaming.
Yes. I mean, yeah, getting me out in the winter is unless I'm going on my snowmobile all rolled up and heated.
Well, now for you, looking at your chart, because I still have it on the other screen here.
Okay, that's
You're
good.
the nodal axis. Should I put it back on the screen again? So I'm not
Sure.
looking over here. Okay. Your nodal axis, this last year, actually for you, was hitting your social house.
Okay.
So this right here, the 11th house, Gemini, where the nodes are moving out of, they're moving into Taurus right now.
Yeah.
This is your social standing. So the nodes were highlighting, and wait, hold on a second. Oh, you had a nodal return last year.
Huh.
So there's your North node in your personal chart, and there's the North node in the current transits.
Okay.
So this year you actually had a nodal return. So you were coming back to the same energy that was at your chart at the beginning.
Okay.
So expansion in the house of social standing. So your birth was probably something everyone celebrated, because in the year that you were born, that was where your nodes were, in that social standing house. And so this year was a lot about how you are perceived by the world. So a little bit more focus on you and your place in the world. So now it's moving into your career house. And you and I have talked about this because this is your final year, yes?
Maybe.
Okay. Well,
that's another conversation.
The next 18 months
yes,
is where the nodes are going to be in this house. So it's focusing on your career. So you're expanding in the career area. So you're saying a lot of focus is going there, you're wrapping things up, probably getting ready to move on to the next phase of your life. And the diminishing side of that is going to sit in your 4th house. So less worry about the home, more more focus on what's going on with your career and what you're going to do going forward. And again, the 10th house isn't just work career, it's what you're known for.
Right.
So writing is also going to fall into that as well.
Is one of the things. Yes. And yes. And more focus is being put on that this year than in the past as well.
And again, with that nodal shift, so your 5th house is your passions and your creativity. So the diminishing for the last 18 months was sitting in your creative house. So it's moving out of that now. So you're going to feel maybe a little bit of a breather, a little bit ease in writing now, because you're not having that diminishing influence in your creative house.
Okay.
So that's going to help.
That sounds cool.
Oh, hold on. I'm missing some of these comments over here. Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. North node in the 7th. Oh, yes. We were talking about that. That's the influence I'm heading into right now, is North node in the 7th. Ugh. Better be a good year. When we stop kicking and screaming, it gets easier.
Yes, it does.
Are you sure? I like kicking and screaming. I guess the consensus from the crowd is yes, we should stop kicking and screaming and just go with the flow. 11th is also allies and benefactors too. So yes, so you would have had outside influence in help, in perhaps guiding you, aiding whatever endeavors you're working on. It's that, again, it's encompassing social standing, how you're perceived and how you are in the larger aspect of the world. And what did she say? Can indicate a solid enough foundation to be able to meet the world with more confidence. Oh, I like that. I like that. So you get some good stuff.
I don't lack confidence, though.
No, you don't. Leo ascendant. No, you don't lack confidence.
Yes. I get like, why isn't the world buying my books? But it doesn't erode my confidence. It erodes my motivation, but not the confidence level.
You've got Leo ascendant, so Leos are natural leaders. Leo is ruled by the sun. It's the guiding light. It's the focal point. So the good side of that Leo ascendant is the natural born leader. You have the qualities to take charge and lead people. The negative side of that would be overinflated ego. It can be oh dang it, my brain's just not working right now.
That's okay.
It can be somebody who demands attention as well. Look at me, rather than people are looking at you because of what you're doing. So as long as you stay more on that side of guiding light and doing what's right and leading from, the heart, so to speak, you're taking on the good aspects of that ascendant. Your sun is also sitting in Capricorn, which Capricorn it's a Saturn ruled sign. And then you and I have talked about Saturn before. It's like the parental influence. Do it right. Even if you have to redo it over and over again, you're going to get it right. And that's that Capricorn influence, is you will get it done right. And you will take as long as you need to get it done right. So both of those are really strong in your chart. which they play well together. And then you've got an Aries moon. So you've got a fiery and passionate moon that's guiding your interactions as well.
Yes.
Oh, hold on a second. I have a munchkin trying to get my attention. What?
The bathroom because
just close the door.
Devin's taking a shower.
Yeah, just close the door. So my kids, because we're in quarantine, are all home right now.
Yes.
So they didn't go to their dad's. And Zoe's the only one who didn't get sick. So we've had 5 people all on top of each other. I've got Allie, my oldest, her boyfriend, my 2 littles and me, all on top of each other in our little 1,000 square foot apartment. It's been fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You need lots of Lysol to spray everywhere. I can send you a package of Lysol. Yeah. And Lysol and Clorox wipes. Wipe everything.
Oh my God. I had, after the puking incident yesterday, was it yesterday? The days are blurring together now. What day is it?
It was yesterday. It's Saturday.
Okay. So yeah, it was over middle of the night, which is why it's really blurring it. So I woke up to Hunter puking in my trash can, which is a step away from the toilet, but he couldn't make it to the toilet. Thank God he made it to the trash can.
Yes.
At least.
Yeah.
But then I had this just stinky trash can smelling up the house until I could, get to it, because you triage, you assess what needs to be assessed and fix what needs to be fixed first. So while I was working on getting Hunter to stop throwing up and getting his temperature under control, it's just this festering smell coming out of the bathroom, and it has not taken my sense of smell away. Thank you very much. So
Renee had a question here.
Oh, yep. So 12th house. Oh, 12th house sun. Sorry. I looked at that wrong. Thank you for correcting me. 12th house sun. Transiting sun is in the 6th house. 12th house sun is an interesting spot for the Leo vibe, since the 12th house is naturally hidden. That's true. Would be interested in Jay's thoughts on confidence given the hidden placement. Oh, that's a good point. So I read the thing wrong. Again, we're going to blame COVID brain for this.
Yes,
and thank you for
okay.
correcting me on that, because I would have missed it if I hadn't been corrected. Your sun is in the 12th house. Transiting sun is sitting in your 6th house. That's where the opposition is now.
Okay.
With the sun in the 12th house in Cancer, how is that playing out with your ability to be confident? How is that how you approach people? And the flip side too, negative responses to your book. How does that affect you?
Negative responses really don't affect me anymore. I think I think that comes with age more than confidence, because I'm like, and I've been at this, it's like, it's everybody has a right to their opinion, but in approaching things, I have no idea what you're asking, how to articulate that.
The 12th house is the house that we don't really control. It's a karmic house. It's the house of kind of our shadow side. Okay. So any planets that reside in that house are typically not acting directly towards our best interest. And it takes a while for people to usually figure out how to use those planets because they're in that shadow. So if you think of like the way they explain it in the class is your ascendant is where the stars are rising at the moment of your birth. Mm-hmm. So the planets that are in the 12th house are right above it. And there's a haze effect with things that are right above the horizon. You can't quite see them. And if you think of that haze effect as your planets in the 12th house being kind of blurry, you can't quite make them out. You can't quite use that energy. They're not giving their all at that point. Until later in life, you're able to actually go, wait, I know what that is. I can use this. So early in life, that might have manifested as your ego, your sun, not getting what it needs, or not feeling like you're able to shine by yourself, not getting the attention, the recognition, or being able to stand up and say, hey, I'm here, listen to me.
That last one, I'm not, I'm not a, hey, I'm here, look at my books. I'm very, very not in your face on my writing. And I think that does lend itself to maybe not getting all the sales that I want, because I'm not
Oh, that's a good perspective because yeah, your
You know,
marketing style and mine are very similar. We're like,
because I'm not standing on the mountaintop going, look
yeah,
at what I have.
yeah.
I'm not going, look at this pretty book. It's so pretty. I'm not doing that everywhere, but it is really pretty.
It is very pretty. Yes, very pretty. So,
You
and that's
know,
something that you've been working on though in
yes,
the
I'm
background.
trying.
You've been doing more advertising. I know
Yep.
that. And you
I've
haven't been
been,
doing advertising like social media advertising. You've been doing direct ads through Amazon. So
yeah,
you're
I've
again
been doing
working in the shadows.
direct ads, but I've also sporadically put, the promos that I'm building on, the groups that I have, but not at any regular interval. And I'm doing all the, the circuit of podcasts and interviews and things like that. But yeah.
I took the outer wheel off so I don't get confused again.
That's okay. That's okay.
Makes it easier to see. So, okay, back to the sun thing, because I said sixth house sun in Capricorn, which is definitely sixth house, or excuse me, Capricorn sun is definitely get shit done energy. A Cancer sun is going to be more of a thoughtful, more of a caretaking, nurturing, making sure everybody has what they need. So I wonder how that played out with your mothering influence. Because you're very close with your children, and you've not only raised them, you've written with some of your children too.
Yes, both of my children now.
Both. So it's you've got that like
both
natural
of my children
nurturing
now.
and
Glitter.
drawing them into it
It
to
has glitter
share
now
passion.
because of one child.
You have what?
It has glitter now because of one
It
child.
has glitter.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to be on Anita's show soon. Yay.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Who are you talking about killing this time?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if this isn't, I don't think I'm coming on the killing one.
Oh.
I think it's just a regular
Okay.
show, not the because I was on that one back in September.
Okay. I love that concept, talking about killing. I love that. Direct ads are intimidating.
They are.
And social media ads are intimidating. I hate social media. I love it and hate it at the same time. I
haven't done Facebook ones. I did a couple BookBub for Silent Night this past Christmas because it was 99 cents. And I don't do high ads or high target, things. So it's very slow, like a drip campaign. Like drip, drip, drip instead of a flood.
Yep.
So I've got to get better at that. But
yeah, it's another learned process.
Yeah. Oh, Between the Pages book chat. Yes.
Now, when are you going to be on that one?
I don't know off the top of my
Okay.
my calendar looks
soon.
Nightmarish. Let's see. I want to say, where is it? Was it in April or was it in February? I have it somewhere. Because I have all of this is my calendar. No, you can't see it.
I can't see.
It's like white things. I have a PR guy that keeps sending me things, and they keep signing up for them. So I keep putting them on my calendar. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
That works. All right. Yes. So I made a mistake on your moon too, because I was reading the outer band, not the inner one. So Libra moon, which is in the third house. So there's your analytical side. That's definitely, it's an air sign, but it's Venus's air sign. So it's not only analytical, but it's analytical for the ultimate beauty, the best possible outcomes, which, God, if that doesn't scream writer.
Yes.
I'm going to craft the best, most entertaining plots ever. And then you got your moon there. So that's exactly where you're nurturing yourself as you're writing. So writing becomes cathartic, which we've already talked about too.
Yes. So don't kill people in real life.
Don't kill people in real life, kill them on the page. So and Mars right there. Mars is cutting and slashing, and it's that aggressive energy sitting right there. That definitely screams a good writer, somebody who's going to not only plot but create something that's going to captivate. It's going to touch on emotions, and it's going to have lots of drama.
January 23rd is my appearance, she says.
What's that?
Thank you, Anita. January 23rd.
January 23rd. So all of you out there, we'll put a link in the show notes after the show. So definitely check the description, and we will put a link for Anita's show so that way you can catch that.
Yes.
Actually, both the shows. I'll put a link for the Go Indie Now programs too, because the Words That Kill is definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I'm on the round table that day too. So
look at you, Miss Busy.
I know, that's why I'm like that's probably why it's not readily appearing on my calendar, because only one thing comes up when I have it in this view.
But that's good. You need that, really focus on getting the writing and stuff done. And maybe that, again, with that nodal shift heading into your career house, it's not just your job, it's what you're known for, which is writing as well. So maybe you're going to see a lot of expansion in that the next 18 months in your writing career that help facilitate more of that retirement and enjoying
the
next phase of energy. Dignified moon as well in the 3rd house. Look at that. See, it's nice having somebody else who knows this too, because they're catching everything that I'm missing with my stupid COVID brain.
Yeah, I have a busy social schedule right now because of the PR guy.
Which that was a new thing for you. You hadn't done that before.
Right, I hadn't. November, I signed on with him, so.
Now, the one thing I do wonder about looking later this year, because we're going to have a Mars retrograde at the last quarter of the year. And it's going to be in your social house. So I wonder how that's going to play out, because it's going to enter in around October and not leave for almost 6 months. And retrograde is that revision energy. So it's going to go across, it's going to go backwards, and it's going to retrace. So it's not always necessarily a bad thing, but it is a serious revision to your social house. It's going to start at I think it's October of the end of this year, 2022.
That might make sense if some of the other things fall into place.
Okay.
Not socially engaging with people on a daily basis.
Okay.
I'm thinking of it in a positive spin.
Do you have any events already planned for the end of next year or next year?
No,
this year?
No.
Come on,
2022. Yeah, no, I don't have anything planned at this point.
Me too, Renee.
The holidays. That's it. The holidays.
Yeah, that's Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah.
I think all the way up through St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Next year. Yeah, so it's a definite shift.
Yep.
And it's that focusing on that 11th house for you. So I wonder how that's going to play. For me, I think it's playing out in my 8th house. So I really don't know how that's going to play out. My 8th house is the house of outside resources, taxes, and death, inheritance. So it could be an interesting one for me. Not sure how that's going to play.
Well, hopefully, yeah, we'll see.
And that's Future Bee's problem. I don't have to worry about that yet.
I'm just that RX Mars and makes me think of a
retrograde Mars in Jay's chart makes me think of Cannon Blast. Hitting Jupiter 1. So with Jupiter's good luck and playfulness, maybe it's an Evil Knievel. Okay. And Jupiter is going to be sitting in your 8th house, moving into your 9th house. So you're going to have your 8th house outside resources, which I believe is your husband's 2nd house. Because you guys were the direct opposites. I love that. Your personal resources were his outside resources, and his outside resources are your personal resources. You guys balance so well. So there's going to be an interesting shift for you guys on that. Actually should be starting right now, because Jupiter is in Pisces right now, and Jupiter's going to blast through Pisces It's going to hit
Okay.
Aries and it's going to retrograde back for a little bit before it blasts through Aries. So for the most part this year, it's going to be in Pisces. And then I think summer-ish time frame, we're going to get a little touch of Aries in there before it comes back. And Jupiter is that positive, expansive planet. As long as you do things right, I've learned with Jupiter, it's law and order with expansion. So if you do things right, you get all the good benefits. You do things wrong, you get hubris, and you pay for hubris. So that could be good. That could be very good.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
This has become my obsession.
I kind of like being evil Knievel.
Josh, what are we laughing at? I need to know.
He's probably laughing at the evil Knievel.
Probably.
But it's like, okay.
Jane is going to do something crazy starting in October. Everybody watch for it. Mark your calendars. We're all going to see it too because it's in your social
Everybody's
house.
going to be watching. So that's kind of cool. Oh my.
We're going to come back to this afterwards.
Yes.
We're going to come back to this and we're going to go over it in next or end of this year. And we're going to see what's going on here.
See what happened over the year and how closely aligned it was.
That's one of my favorite things to do. So I follow a lot of astrologers on YouTube, and they all, of course, the start of a new year, they're all doing their yearly forecast. So I love to go back through and see what their delineations were, what they said could happen, what energies were in play. And again, you have to factor it in based on your chart because the houses talk about the topics that those things are going to actually focus on. So it's fun to go back and see, okay, that did line up, this did line up, that didn't line up, and really be able to play with it.
Yeah, it would be nice if, that luck and playfulness, worked out nicely because I'm thinking lotto in the back of my head.
Yeah, but
not really.
I'm not sure if I would say investments.
Yeah.
I look at the 8th house and a lot of times I think of investment income because you put your money into it, but it has to stay there for a really long time. And if you make the smart decisions, then it grows. And if you don't, it can be a loss. So it's kind of a gamble, but it's not like the personal resources that you're actively working and using day to day.
Right.
So like, I know you said that you guys have done your investments, you're getting close to retirement. So that could possibly be, getting ready to reap the rewards of smart investing.
Possibly. And the timing, maybe.
Josh is going to be crazy all year.
Yes, I know Josh is going to be crazy all year.
Oh, and Renee's starting a podcast. Send us the link, Renee. I want to see this so that way I can follow you.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's an astrology one, because that is my guilty pleasure, obviously. So then I'll be following that. Are you serious, Josh? 705 episodes. Wow.
And I was very, very honored to be one of the top 10 of his last year.
Oh,
I was in his top 10. So it was like, oh, thank you, Josh.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was. So, well, now I know what my year's coming. I could just go to sleep now.
There's more to it than that. I mean, let's see.
I know.
We've got the Venus and Mars. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Venus and Mars. Once the Mercury retrograde is done and the Venus retrograde is done, so starting in February, Venus and Mars line up and almost to the degree walk hand in hand through Aquarius and into Pisces, I think, before they separate. Okay. And so you've got what makes life worth living and the passion and drive to get shit done walking together.
That's nice.
That could be some really productive energy. It could also be detrimental too if you're just gung-hoing it and throwing shit at a wall.
Right.
But if you're like utilizing both of those energies, that could be really productive. Of course, it's also going to run into the Saturn-Uranus square, which is still sort of happening this year. So Saturn's sitting in its home sign. Remember the parental influence. So wherever Aquarius is in your chart, Saturn is lording over its home. So mama looking over your shoulder and it's squaring off. So square energy is, it's that struggle energy with Uranus, the planet of change, unexpected things, shaking up systems and societies, sitting in the grounded earthy sign of Taurus. So you've got law and rules and order going up against drastic change in a house that doesn't want to have drastic change. It's that stubborn, it's all year last year we were getting pings from that energy, and we've got one more coming this year. So
interesting.
Yeah. And Mars and Venus will like smack right into that.
Yes.
Because that could be really productive, though. I mean, if you want to look on the positive side, it could be very productive.
It could be. It
could be like running headfirst into a wall, Evel Knievel style.
Well, he jumped. He successfully jumped many things. So hey, who might argue about Evel Knievel?
It always works until it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Right.
I like the astro weather. I love that. Definitely. Yeah. Send us your link. We'll post it in our show notes too, so other people can find you. I love that idea. Because that is kind of like what astrology is. It's not, it's not the horoscopes everyone reads in the paper. It's kind of like a weather report. Here's what you can expect. Plan ahead. Bring your raincoat. Bring your umbrella. Don't worry about the umbrella today. It's that plan ahead energy.
Bring your steel heart.
You still have to get through the day, regardless of what energy is around you. But it's kind of nice to know what you might run into.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, you want to talk about romance this year? All right, Josh. Send me a message later. We'll go over some of that for you. Yeah, not till Venus goes direct. I shouldn't say nothing good is going to happen till Venus goes direct, but when we're still in that backwards energy, we haven't figured out the problem yet. So with retrograde, remember, you're going forward, you're going backwards, and then you're going forward again. So you're retracing that last step, but going backwards, you've already come into this problem. You're backing up so you can refocus on it. You haven't figured the problem out until you start moving forward.
Absolutely.
Joshua, get a romance reading from both me and Katie. There you go. Yes, because you're getting different perspectives. I like Renee's. She comes up with things that I'm not seeing. So it is kind of nice to see how the different things play out from the different perspectives. So that's a good idea. I love getting reports too from other astrologers because I know what I see. Maybe they see something different, and maybe what they see is better.
The rose-colored glasses for you.
Exactly. All right. Well, we have successfully killed an hour.
It was fun.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
It was good. I told you this morning, I need someone to talk to.
And that's okay. I am here.
Anyway. But back to reality. And I'll check the schedule. I'm not sure if we have somebody next week or not.
I think you do. I think we do. I think we have. Hold on. Spilling ink with Kelly.
Oh, yes.
Riley. Yes.
I just got done working on another one of her formats. She's doing a large print now for the Riches and Royals series.
Oh, good.
So, yeah,
I'm hoping my internet is good enough for a podcast. I'm going to be in South Carolina.
Cool.
So hopefully my internet is good enough, but I'm going to bring the setup and hopefully we can cross our fingers and say, be good enough so that, you can actually see me and hear me and it's not pausing like sometimes, Rebekah has that issue.
Oh,
the Carolinas, right?
That's so frustrating though when it's you and you're pausing and you can't do anything about it.
Right, exactly. So
all right.
I'm hoping I will be clear and concise.
All right, then. Well, thank you guys for watching and hanging out with us, especially you guys in the chat today. That was really good to have some interaction. I love this. If you like what we're doing, let us know. Maybe we can do a couple more shows like this and kind of throw a little fun stuff in there. I've reached out to like Chris Brennan before. He's another astrology podcaster to see if I could get him on the show because I also have his book. So I'm going to try and reach out to some more astrologers that also do podcasts because I would love to be able to like cross-pollinate, a little bit of this. But we'll see. And, as always, we will be back and we'll have more people to introduce you to and some more fun conversations. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Have a good week, guys.